Hey everyone, I know it's been a while and I got some explaining to do, but instead of just talking at you, why don't you check out what I just imported while I tell you my little story. Also, my buddy imported this MR2, which is pretty sweet. We might do some content on that too later, but this. First of all, this thing is a 1996 Suzuki Jimny. It's a 4x4, 5-speed, turbo, 660 cc, 3-cylinder, making 63 horsepower. It's pretty clean. Anywho, so it's been a while since my last video, and since then I've sold most of my K-trucks. The only one left is the Subaru Classic van back in the corner here, but that's going to get a huge overhaul, and it's going to be a big project. I'm not physically ready to tackle that as I'm still recovering from a motorcycle accident. So if you've seen my black Yamaha in the background of some of the videos, that's no longer with us. Some guy blew a red light and I slammed into the side of his car. I totaled my bike, broke both wrists, fractured a few ribs and vertebrae, and lacerated a kidney. I probably wouldn't be able to tell you this story if I wasn't wearing my helmet, so wear your damn helmet. Anywho, I'm alright now, but we're going to start with some small projects before getting into the sandbar build, so stay tuned for that. I'll give you a little hint, it's going to need a whole frame. As for this little guy, immediately upon picking it up from the lot, from the port rather, I ordered bigger wheels and tires. Check these things out. I went a little bit too hard on the tire fitment, and they don't fit. So naturally, we're going to lift it. Alright, to be fair, the tires fit, I can't turn, which is a problem. So, let's get to it. Fortunately, it comes with some pretty comprehensive color pictures and instructions. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese, but it seems pretty self-explanatory once we get out from under the hood, where we have to disconnect a bunch of stuff so that there's slack on the lines. So I'm going to start with that. Google Translate like one section at a time. Get the steering is a whole separate set of instructions, so we'll do that while we're underneath there. Get the brake lines loosened up and all those things, make sure that's loose. And the rest of the body mount points, pretty straightforward. You just pick it up a little bit, add the spacer, drop it back down. This is just a body lift, no suspension lift. Oh, but first, this is the kit I got. I got extended brake lines separately. They didn't come with this specific kit, but some of them do have them. They have one extended brake line. I opted to get all three because I'm not sure which ones are going to need the slack or not, so we'll find out. You got the steering extensions. They're like the spacer plates. You can put as many as you need. The actual body spacers, they're POM plastic. I don't know what it stands for, but they're like really hard plastic spacers. You can get aluminum ones too. It's a little bit more expensive, but I want it just black, incognito. I don't want it being shiny underneath the frame. And the extra hardware. That's about it. So pretty simple kit. Alright. Well, real quick, check out underneath the hood. We got our intercooler with the functional hood scoop. It's pretty sweet. I mean, it's all stock down here except for, of course, the blow-off valve that I just installed. That's on a different video. But, alright, back to business. The steering coupling that we're looking for is right there below the coolant reservoir tank. Overflow, whatever you want to call it. Instructions say a couple of 13 mils to get that out, so I'm going to work on that. You're not going to be able to watch me do it because I can't even see what I'm doing. Be right back. Alright, well, they lied. It was definitely 12 millimeter on the stock bolts, but I got that loose. Can you see that? We're just going to leave it chilling for now until we pick up the body and see how many spacers we need. The spacers go on the other side of this rubber piece, so I am going to have to take apart more, but for now we're disconnected, so it's safe to start lifting. Well, not yet, but that's not going to be a problem right now. Next is brake lines. That bracket right there, that's got to get loosened up. Oh, okay. They're not nuts. They're actually from the inside of the wheel well. Yep. Those are two 10 mils from the inside of the wheel well. Alright, two crusty 10 mils from inside of the wheel well. Their bracket's loose. Next. But while we're up here, we're going to skip to that air box, which is mounted to the body, but obviously the motor's staying where it is. So just do that real quick because it's easy. Nice and gentle. Oh, is it because of this? No. Then you go too. Okay, there we go. Airbox free. It really wasn't that tight. I can't push with my wrist right now. Don't worry about it. Alrighty. Step 4 is talking about the steering, which we already took apart. Step 6 is the heater cable. I gotta translate that. I don't know why we need to move that. It looks like there's some slack in it. Plus, that moves with the body. Save me, Google Translate. Oh, it wants me to move the whole bracket. That makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, it's 210 mils. I'm assuming it comes with a bracket to move that. I don't know how that's gonna work. We'll see. Figure that out later. Doesn't seem to be that much slack on the. I don't know. That's just the heat. We don't need to worry about that. We'll figure it out. Step 7: air conditioning expansion tank bolts. I don't know why we have to move this because the radiator's not going to move. If anything, these brackets need to move because the body's going to move up. And obviously all the connection points to the fender. But I'm going to double, triple check the instructions and figure it out. Alright, after careful consideration, I decided to follow the instructions. So you take off the body clip here, move this mud flap out, and you got 2 more 10 mil bolts right there holding the... Gosh darn it. Alright, what was I saying? Yeah, so we're going to move that up because I realized that the hard lines for the AC go into a bulkhead. So that's going to move with the body, including this. And then this end that's got the rubber hoses can flex with the chassis and the engine and all the other components. So this does indeed have to move up, like the instructions said. I don't know why I doubted them. So 2 10 mils, get that loose. Alright, I lied. I don't actually know how this is going to work out because this is attached to the body. This is attached to the core support. So is this. This is attached to the body. This is all hardline. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So for now, I'm going to undo these clips holding the AC line. Just reach in from the fender in the wheel well and pinch the legs and it should just pop out. Alright, we're underneath the Jimny now. This is the brake distribution block right here with the 2 10 mil bolts that have to come out. And it's got to get a little extension bracket because that's going to stay with the frame, but those lines are going to move with the body. And then if you come back here, parking brake cable bracket, that's going to get removed and omitted because now that the body has 2 inches more space, this bracket's just holding it away from the drive shaft. But with the body 2 inches higher, we don't need it, and we need the slack anyway, so that just gets deleted. And then we're gonna, where are we? Back here, we gotta loosen up the fuel filler lines and vent pipe up there. Alrighty, so this has been proven to be a bit of a challenge. I had to take out this interior panel to get this whole panel to get to this cover over the fuel filler on the inside of the truck, and I snapped like all the clips. This fuel filler cover is held in with 3 Phillips head. They're number 3 Phillips. Don't use number 2, you will probably strip them. And there we go. So we're just supposed to loosen this stuff up, and I'm not entirely sure how we're going to extend it. There's quite a bit of slack on here. Maybe if we just pull this down as far as we can, it'll be alright. We'll see. Worst case, I get a longer filler neck. It's like a total of maybe a foot long, so it's not a big deal. But for now, we'll loosen it. We'll get everything, the lift in place, and we'll see if they reach or not. That clamp is 8 mil, by the way, if you're lazy like me. And this is just finger tight. Now the question is, do I have the wrist strength to... Nope. That's what I usually do. Just grab some channel locks and gently get it to twist. There you go. It cracked loose, and then it just should wiggle off. Alright, there's not a lot of slack on that underneath the truck because it immediately goes into an elbow. right there. So if it's not moving, like mine isn't, I'm just gonna start lifting the truck slowly on that side and work it down like half an inch at a time, so I don't tear anything. And these other lines, I guess we'll remove this as a precaution, but I think there's enough slack on these that it shouldn't matter. Let that chill out for now. So I think that's it on my little instructions over here. Alright, I could not locate this fluid line, whatever it is. We'll see as I start lifting slowly. If I see anything binding, take care of it then. Everything else is disconnected, like it says. We're on to page 2, where we start loosening up body mount bolts. So there's 10 bolts in total that we have to do. 200 by the front bumper, 2 on the rear bumper, 4 across the rear part of the frame, and then the 2 off the horns in the front and middle of the frame. I lied once again. You gotta take the front grill off. It's got 3 Phillips screws in the middle, and then 2 clips on either side, left and right. And you gotta undo the wires for the signal markers. But the front body bolts are in there, so you gotta take your front grill off. Now I'll start loosening body bolts, get underneath it, and we'll be right back. So these bolts in the front so far, there are 14mm nuts. I was able to get this one out pretty easy. This one was a pain in the butt, so if you need more clearance to put a wrench on there, you can push the headlight in on the 3 adjustment screws and twist it, and it comes out of these little locks. So you have some more clearance, put a wrench on there. If the nut is getting spinning, or just rather, if the nut spins out, that's fine, but you actually have to get the whole stud out. So if you want to get it all in one shot, the top is a E10 E-Torx bit, so you can spin the whole thing out in one shot. And despite how rusty they were, it came out pretty easy. So all the bolts underneath were 14mm, and this little Milwaukee zapped them out, so it didn't take like a huge impact. Probably could have done it by hand, but this makes it faster. The ones on the back, however, you can see they're kind of right out here. Peel back your weather strip, and they provide a nice little notch right there for you. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. That was the toughest one so far, but we got it. I'm getting a busted cousin car delivery. Be right back. Alright, obviously all the bolts are out, and I started lifting it slowly. Sorry I didn't record that part. I was just back and forth 14 times to make sure nothing is getting pulled. So we're up maybe enough, I'm not sure yet, but I ran into a few problems, so you should know. Mine has the fog lights, and these wires were clipped in and tight, so I had to undo a little plastic clip and pull some slack out. So that was one thing binding. The other thing is that the brake lines that were loosened up, still not quite loose enough to really get enough slack out of it. I had to bend this line a little bit to get a little bit more slack, so now it's not super tight. Hopefully I don't have to lift it much more than where it's at now, because I don't think I have any more slack in these the hard lines. We'll see, because I don't know if I can slip in the thing right now. They also give you these, like, I don't know what they are, vinyl discs. They're supposed to go anywhere between the actual spacer and where there's steel body. You gotta put it on there so I guess it doesn't squeak. And then the other side has the rubber, so it won't vibrate. Well, the front's real easy. Alright, here's the example of the old body mounts. The actual steel part of the frame would sit in between here. You sandwich it, put the bolt through. Now what you're going to do is put the spacer with the, I don't know what this is, vinyl washer on the top, followed by this part of the body mount, but you're going to lose the bushing inside because you're going to use this one to go through everything. Please hold. It's going to sandwich everything, and you're gonna reuse the bottom part of the mount and sandwich it like that. And there's your 2-inch lift. Alrighty, everything else is in, and we just put the steering spacers in there, little shiny aluminum washers that they give you. The instructions tell you to put it on the other side of that coupling. I put it on this side just to see what's going to happen, because I see no difference with putting it on one side versus the other. It's still a straight spacer. It's not changing the angle at all. It's not going to foul anything where it is. So I'll let you know how that goes. Or if you don't hear from me, it didn't work out. But it looks like our lift is done. Oh, I still got to put the grill back on, but you know, it's pretty straightforward. And then I will work on bumper bracket adapters to bring that up 2 inches, because the rear bumper, as you can see, follows the body. It's mounted to the body, and the front bumper is mounted to the frame. So I'm gonna have to raise it up a little bit, and we'll be good to go. So for now, it's just gonna look a little doofy, but it should clear my wheels. All right, here she is in all her glory. 2-inch body lift complete. There's some things they don't tell you with the instructions in that kit. First of all, the flexible brake lines they give you with it, I don't know where they need to be or be used, because I didn't need them. The bracket that raised the distribution block down there was enough slack for the flexible lines up here. Everything else is hard lined. And all the flexible lines come off the frame anyway to the suspension, so I'm not sure why you needed that. The air box, the air filter intake tube is too short to use it in the stock location, so I had to take the brackets off and throw a zip tie on it for now. I'll probably put a different intake on it, but right now it's just chilling there because it's too short to leave it mounted. So, oh well. The biggest issue is the shifter. It's now 2 inches shorter than it used to be. No, it's too dark in here, but trust me, it doesn't feel right, so I'm going to extend it, but that'll be another day. Right now it still works, it just doesn't feel great. Other than that, everything was perfect. But now we're on to, well, the last problem. The rear bumper is attached to the body, so it comes up when you do the lift. The front bumper, however, it's attached to the frame, so when you do the body lift, you end up with a 2-inch gap between your grill and your bumper, which is unacceptable for me. So yes, you can just take off the front bumper and do some like off-road tubular thing if you want. I opted to raise it, so I already started. I just chopped off the bottom of this bracket and I drilled a hole 2 inches higher than it used to be for one of the bottom brackets, one of the bottom bolts. It's not going to be enough. I have to cut some more of this tube, I think. But regardless, I have to cut a bunch of the tube because these gigantic tires don't fit. It rubs on the inside of this, and it rubs on this pinch weld right here. So I'm going to fold this a little bit. It doesn't actually rub. It's close, but I'm going to fold it down a little bit just to make sure. But that tube's got to get cut. So I started it. I'm going to continue. I think I'm going to cut it at like an angle so I can maintain some of this bracket, extend it up so that the bumper, the top bolt still mounts here. And I'll have to figure out a new bottom bolt. But I'm just going to cut like halfway through this pipe and it should give us enough clearance. But give me a second, throw the other tire on so you can see what it looks like. And there you go. Big tire, little truck. Alright, so the lift is done. It looks great. Bad news is that I'm going to undo all of it because I hate the way it drives right now. I get wicked death wobble at like 60 kilometers an hour, which is like 35, 40 miles an hour, so that's just not good.